Hey Libra, welcome to your July reading. So Spirit said something thoroughly interesting when I sat down to do your reading, which is your secret desire is the secret ingredient. What do they mean by that? They were saying that Libra people would be served to look at, what am I not allowing myself to want? What are some things that I truly crave in my life, from the small to the big, like from the light stuff to the heavy stuff? Like, what do I not allow myself to acknowledge? I desire this. I want this. I'm leaving it wide open for you, Libra. What are the things that you desire? Because Spirit is saying that actually, if you would allow yourself to acknowledge that desire, start there. You don't have to go after it, but acknowledging, like, you know what? Yeah, I do want to be rich or desire it or whatever. There's no, please do not hinder yourself with like the thought police, your inner appointed morality police. We're just talking. We're just thinking. We're not going out and doing anything. We're not making a blueprint. We're not making a plan even, right? We're talking about, like, you know what? Yeah, if I'm honest with myself, I really want that person to like, or whatever. Your secret desire is the secret ingredient. So something you may have been feeling like, damn, why can't I have this level of success or visibility or money or this relationship that I crave or whatever it is. It could be that once you start acknowledging that you want a certain thing that might sound forbidden or just not necessarily within the scope of how you think of yourself. That's something that they're saying, is like, you might think of yourself as like, well, I'm a good person, so I can't want sexual satisfaction or whatever, right? Like, again, watch out for those fucking thought police, okay? You're allowed to think stuff. You're allowed to wonder stuff. You're allowed to explore stuff. Especially, it's safe to do it within yourself. And if it doesn't feel safe to do it within yourself, that's an issue, and that's something that we want to work on, okay? Okay, we'll talk about it more. Let's keep that as the backdrop of your reading. That's really exciting news. Your secret desire is the secret ingredient. It's not so forbidden. That's just what I'm hearing. Okay, Libra, let's get into the story of your month. I'm going to pull a persona card to see how you are showing up as the protagonist in your story. And then, Spirit, we want to see the lay of the land. The past, the recent past, as it pertains to Libra's present and future. What kind of energy informs the present and the unfolding future? Thank you, Spirit. And we want to know, what is the flavor of the present moment for Libra? Where does Libra find themselves? Where do you want to bring their attention for their highest good, Spirit? And how are those past and present circumstances and choices unfolding into the future? A likely outcome, Spirit, a likely trajectory. And from there, Spirit, I want to pull purposefully, what is a potential outcome in the month of July for Libra people, so that they can steer toward it if they like it, or steer away from it if it is an outcome they do not desire. What is a potential outcome for Libra people, Spirit, in the month of July? What is the flavor? Thank you. Spirit, we want to know the climate, the energy around Libra people this month. Whatever the truth is, Spirit, it serves Libra's highest good to be aware of what is in their vicinity. What is around Libra, Spirit, and how can they best navigate this month? What is your guidance for Libra people in the month of July? What advice would you come down and whisper into Libra's ear to help them have the best possible July? And finally, Spirit, what is the key? The key to unlocking the month of July, unlocking the best of it, unlocking the truth, unlocking possibilities, Spirit, for Libra in the month of July, Spirit. The key. Hey, okay, let's see what we got here. Wow. Oh my gosh, okay, that's so much major arcana. All but two. We're not counting your persona card. All but two of your spread cards are major arcana. This is pivot point stuff. So this brings us to talking, Libra, about how your fellow cardinal signs have just recently had some new planetary occupants. Your opposite sign, Aries, who is your cardinal fire cousin, right? Your cardinal air. So Aries is opposing you. It sits across your chart, right? And Saturn and Neptune have both recently entered the sign of Aries. Now, even more recently, Jupiter, the sign of luck, growth, expansion, good fortune, broadening horizons, has moved into your other cardinal Cancer, your other cardinal cousin, Cancer, cardinal water. So when planets move into your fellow cardinal signs, that means that a square is created, right? Squares they produce creative tension. So something might be pushing or rubbing, or like there could be some frictional or even like maybe confining seeming circumstances that are encouraging you to solve this problem in a new way. One of the ways that I will describe squares to people sometimes is like, imagine that you are trying to move a big, bulky piece of furniture up a narrow stairwell. You can't change the shape of the stairwell, and you can't change the shape of the furniture. You have to change your approach, right? You have to think creatively. You have to problem solve. That's the nature of a square. When you solve, like when you do approach it that way, the abundance and the cultivation and the growth can be incredible, which is like laid out here in your reading. Massive growth, internal and external. That's what I'm feeling. And a reminder that cutting, harvesting is a really important part of growth. You know how like they when you cut your hair, it tends to grow a little faster and stuff like that because it's healthier. It's not splitting, it's not breaking, so it appears to grow even faster, but it's really just because it's healthier. That's funny, but that's what Spirit is making the comparison with. So there's something in your life that's like, I need to trim off these dead ends. I need to trim off these split ends so that this region of my life, this skill set, this business can be refreshed and have some new growth to it. Okay? Funny. Spirit's funny. I love the way that they come through. Never cease to amaze me. So, beautiful card for your persona card, the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Emotions, the Queen of Intuition as well, right? Because one of the secrets of intuition is that the calmer, the more centered we're able to become within our emotions, right? Because emotions are a whole wavelength. They are the weather. They're always changing. But our center is something that is deeper, that is quieter, that is more subtle. So the more in tune we get with our emotions, the better we become at, I don't mean controlling them, but I do mean surfing them, working with them. For example, not working against them, not deciding that the moment you're having an emotional hurricane out over your ocean is the time, now's the time to go thinking about how to solve this problem when I'm in deep despair. That's a great idea. No, not a great idea, right? Better idea to sit on the beach and observe the storm and be like, wow, what an incredible elemental force this is, this anger that's rushing through me, or this passion, or this sense of injustice, or whatever, that is not necessarily the moment to make a move, but it is data. That brings us to your past card, the High Priestess, the queen of taking in all of the data, synthesizing it, and then making a move, but never before. The Queen of Cups and the High Priestess harmonize really nicely. So I think that you're in a great position to intuit what it is that needs to be clipped in order for you to grow, in order for you to have your success. The desire that you maybe need to embrace and what you need to cut in order for that desire to be able to spring forth and grow. So, deep reflection. The Queen of Cups and the High Priestess have this in common. You may have already been in deep reflection before now. Very spiritual kind of... Very spiritual kind of reflection. Deep silence and rest and repose are really important this month. So as much as I see growth and like the growth of skills and money and resources here, I encourage you to take things slow and at your own pace. Neither the queen nor the high priestess are up on their feet. They're both at rest, right? They're both sitting. Your best answers are going to come from the depths. Notice that the Queen of Cups, her throne is a lotus blossom. The symbolism of lotus blossoms are that they are this beautiful, incredible, multi-petaled flower, but it has to blossom and grow out of the deepest, darkest, muddiest, most stagnant waters, right? So the darkness, the murkiness, uh-oh, I have a deep, dark desire somewhere down there. Oh my God, I worry about embracing the fact that I have this desire because in some way maybe it seems deep or dark or murky or far away or unknown to me. But the more that you bring light to it, and by light I mean unconditional acceptance. I mean that, again, just because I want this doesn't mean I have to go do it, right? But to pretend that I don't want it is inevitably going to cut me off from some level of perception or truth or awareness. And that becomes, at the lowest or lightest end, a minor hindrance, and at the most major end, it can become a future tower moment. You know what I'm saying? You don't have any towers in your reading. Everything looks good. I'm just saying that unacknowledged desires can come back and bite us, or can have us acting out in strange ways that we don't actually feel in alignment with. We've seen it all over. Okay, so trust yourself, reflect on yourself, be quiet with yourself, allow time for like journaling, therapy if you're into that, divination if you're into that, deep, calm reflection. Answers will seem to bubble to the surface or drop out of the sky and into your mind out of nowhere, but really it's because you created the space and the safety. And that is what Spirit is saying about acknowledging and accepting those desires, is like, oh, I'm creating safety within myself for parts of myself to be able to give me information that maybe previously I wasn't ready to hear or wouldn't have accepted, etc., right? And that information, that data that we were talking about earlier, those downloads, or those, again, this bubbled up to the surface, this old memory. Why am I having this memory at this time? Oh, there's a connection here. A part of me wants something or needs to change something or whatever. Even if you don't understand it off of the bat, which is very characteristic of the kind of high priestess information that people can receive, even if you don't understand it off the bat, don't dismiss it. Just let it be there. Practice the art of noticing, okay? And as you practice the art of noticing, inevitably that will have you shifting away from certain things just naturally, and that's what I'm hearing. Death, transformation, an ending, which is always attached to a new beginning. Check out the Fool sitting in the key position. We'll get there. Accepting your desires will naturally, again, have you just turning away from certain things, or Spirit is saying losing interest in certain things. Embracing our whole self makes moving toward what is good for us and what is moving away from what is not good for us much, much easier, and feel like a much more natural process. And they keep emphasizing that word. And it's like, I want to make a distinction that, like, death, right, is a natural process, as opposed to like the tower that feels like chaos, right? Death is a natural thing. And this is why Spirit is saying, as you reflect gently on like, what do I want and what do I not want, and what am I feeling a lot of right now? What do I wish I was feeling more of? And just asking, and then sitting back and letting the answers come. The more that you do that, the easier it will be to just be like, oh, wow, I used to be really attracted to this person, but as I've explored more and more and accepted more and more of who I am, I've just become naturally less attracted to them. And so I find myself detaching and walking in this other direction. and it doesn't hurt so bad. I'm not telling myself I need to stop liking this person or I need to find blah, blah, blah. It's just happening naturally. I'm naturally moving in better and more aligned directions. Why do I say that? The hermit sits in the future. The hermit, the one who is seeking and finding their own wisdom, their own light. The hermit, the high priestess, and the queen of cups could have a pretty cool, deep, life-altering conversation at a party, right? Death, for that matter. They'd all have a lot to say to each other and a lot to inform the fool about, right? The hermit is about alignment. Sometimes that alignment can be about, like, I'm turning down the volume of the outside world and I'm going on my own journey. And I do feel that for a lot of you. But I also feel that for a lot of you, this has nothing to do with being on your own. If anything, it involves you moving closer to your own people by virtue of being in better alignment with yourself. The more open I am and the more of a kind of lighthouse that I am of like what I value and I walk my talk and all of that, the better my people are able to find me. Does that make sense, right? It's like I'm not, ooh, I better turn down this opinion because it's not so socially acceptable, right? It's like, no, actually, this is my opinion. This is how I feel. Free Palestine or what, you know what I mean? And if somebody has a problem with that, well, they're not my people. We'll let that be there. Your people, speaking of the guidance, Four of Wands, enjoy, bask in, and if you don't know who they are, find your community, your family, your home, happy home. I'm feeling a couple things with this. Some of you are going on a literal, like, geographical journey. Like you are seeking a new home or you have just moved to a new place, because that's just what Spirit is showing me. This place looks like it is in much better alignment with you. That's what I feel. And if you haven't gotten there yet, it's like that's what's on the table. That's what's on the menu. If you will do the work that Spirit is talking about. Finding the split ends, right? The high priestess, snipping them, death, and then growing in. Ah, yes, this is healthy. I'm moving in this direction. I'm growing. I can feel it. I'm growing more firm and more strong in myself as I cut away things that that split me. Spirit is funny, but please go with it. At least it was Libra people, right, that were getting this. Speaking of Libra, sitting in the climate, the energy around you, justice. Justice and the death card sitting in the same reading to me looks like having to make a really important decision that involves letting go of something that is, again, not befitting of you. Something that will bring your life into better balance as you shut the door on it or let it go or detach from it or let its attraction drain out of your life in a natural way. We're not going out of our way to do it, right? We're not ripping it out. We're letting it slowly just kind of fade away. I feel like a really important decision is at hand, and I'm talking about like signing papers, like signing a contract, signing a lease, making a really important agreement with someone. The more that you are centered, Queen of Cups, High Priestess, the Hermit, the more that you know, what is my alignment? What do I desire? What do I no longer desire? And I cut that away. The more in a balanced place you'll be to make that decision. Curious if anyone listening to this Libra reading has Cancer placements, because I feel like if you do, you might want to go listen to that reading because there's quite a nice Venn diagram and it might flesh some things out for you. So, sitting in the potential outcome, Eight of Pentacles, growth of money, growth of skills, personal growth, like personal development. I'm hearing all of these things. Growing and blossoming, and Spirit is talking about, well, yeah, when you just pull weeds, things grow. It's not even about necessarily having to do a whole bunch of addition and a whole bunch of new work. As you find the split ends, as you find the weeds in your garden and you pull them, as you come out in the following days, you'll see what was already growing there is already becoming healthier, becoming fuller, already being allowed to flourish because it's not being cramped. Or, you know, it's like Spirit is really saying, like, because your style isn't being cramped by what you think other people are thinking about it. Please take that literally, because for some of you it is not as simple as, it is as tangible as dressing the way that you want to, using the name that you want to use, whatever. That's what I'm hearing. Sitting in the key position, the key to unlocking the best and the most of July for you is the Fool. You get to make up your life as you go along. This is your experiment. You get to set yourself free from preconceived notions and expectations, even and especially your own. And you get to walk through the world the way that you want to. So allow yourself to discover, and allow yourself to be surprised, and allow yourself to be welcomed by the people who really see and feel you. And it may come ironically when you break away from what you think other people want from you and you begin to embrace what you really desire. Really exciting reading, Libra. Would love to hear if you have thoughts about it, if you have questions about it. Like if you like, dislike if you didn't, helps. Subscribe if you vibe, that super helps. I really appreciate y'all being here, and I hope I will catch you at the Sunday Live every week at 11 a.m. Till then, bye Libra.